Okay.
They
Again,
did in the chat.
we're going to talk about winning the mental battle. All right. So I ask you guys, and this is I'm asking you guys, so I want to hear your thoughts. But what's the most challenging part? Like, what makes changing your health hard? Feel free to unmute yourself or type it in the chat. I wanna hear what you guys got to say.
When progress
tough
is
as
reversed.
Yes.
Home stressors.
Getting out of old habits.
Oh, big one. And we're going to talk about that. Consistency.
Injuries.
Yes. Speak of the devil, right? Denial.
Hormones.
Yeah. Oh, those ones are fun too, huh? Actually showing up. Yes, that's a big one. Eating enough, right? Your mindset, life events, right? Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones in here. Zero motivation, staying
Making habits.
yeah, leaky habits, right? There's a lot, and obviously each one of you could probably give a different answer to what's going on, like for yourself, what made this journey hard, what's been hard about it so far, and there's going to be new things that are going to be hard. We talked about a few of these, but changing habits and behaviors, I heard that. Discipline also kind of goes along the lines of consistency, your commitment, doubting yourself, right? Along the lines of consistency, I'll put Eric on the spot and see if he kind of remembers saying this often. If not, I'll preach what he typically says. But Eric, what do you normally say about consistency with like poor habits and good habits? You know where I'm going with this?
I do. No one has an issue with being consistent. Consistent by nature. The issue is the focal point of what you're consistent with. Lazy is a form of consistency, right? A form of doing nothing. You consistently do nothing, you're going to consistently get in worse shape. You consistently work out, it's the reverse of that.
Yeah. Now, so glad you remembered that. I know I was putting you on the spot a little bit, but yeah, that's a big thing about consistency is we're all consistent. We just are either consistently doing the wrong thing or consistently doing something to damage or take us farther away from our health, or consistently doing something that's bettering our health, right? And ultimately that comes down to our choices of consistency. So tonight we're going to talk about a few things that can help. Just so you guys obviously know, this is not like a end all be all, right? This is not the only things that help, but I do think that these are important things that do help. And so one of them, we're going to talk about managing expectations. We're going to talk about positive self-talk, expressing your difficulties, resiliency, discipline, those kind of things, and then also support and your support system. So those are going to be our 5 big ones for tonight. So first, managing your expectations. And I kind of go in this order for a reason, but I'm going to ask you guys this to just think about it in your own head for the next 3 questions, but answer these questions to yourself in your own head. So first is, what are you expecting from your own health journey? Basically, currently from where you're at, what do you expect in your own health journey? Second is, how quickly do you expect it to happen? Right? Third is, do you and your coach agree on these expectations? So expectations are a big part of our journey, because if we have high expectations of, let's use a really easy example, I want to lose 100 pounds. Okay, if that's your expectation, how quickly, now it comes to, okay, well, how quickly do you expect that to happen? And if your expectation is, I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 4 weeks, my expectation is far different from that as your coach, right? My expectation is 100 pounds, right? We need, like, let's focus on maybe 6 months, like that type of transformation. So expectations play a big role in mentally setting the stage for what to expect, right? So you have to have the right expectations heading into this. This obviously doesn't just concern weight loss, right? This isn't weight loss, it's all things in life. Like, you manage your expectations with favors that you ask or not expecting something in return, right? Tasks that you do, the decisions that you make, like the list goes on and on. We have an expectation of every single thing that we do. It just so happens that obviously tonight we're talking about expectations in regards to your health. So A question I do have for you guys and there's no right or wrong to this, is just after your first meeting with your coach, whether they're in here or not with you right now, did your expectation change after your first meeting with your coach? Like when you got in there and you had this goal of what you wanted to do, did your expectation change as far as like how quickly you were going to achieve it or whatnot? I want to know your guys' answers. Throw them in the chat or out loud.
One of the expectation I changed for myself is I didn't think I would, move as much as I did, and I moved more than what I thought I did. So.
Yeah. Sometimes, something that I hear often is something like that. Like people either didn't expect how much or how little they were actually eating, like when they started. But you start logging your food, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I eat basically nothing. Or I've seen the flip side of that, where like as soon as people start logging their food, you guys all went through your calibration week, people start intentionally eating far less than normal because they see how much they're actually eating and they're like, oh, that can't be healthy, right? And they start trying to make that change on their own without us telling them that yet. I saw another one on the steps from Judith, right? Expectations are a big part of that. And hopefully in that call, you and your coach were able to like manage those expectations and set something that seems realistic for both of you, that you both feel comfortable achieving, right? Amelia, thank you for the shout out. What's up, E?
Real quick, easy way to look at expectations is look at it from a hypocritical standpoint, especially if you have children. You tell your children to do something, you expect them to do it or they're going to get in trouble, right? Kids are sponges. So if you're going to set expectations for their kids and your coach set an expectation for you and you're not doing it, how you going to tell your kids what you expect them to do? You're a hypocrite then. When what you're being asked to do by your coach is 1,000 times easier than what you're asking your child to do, whether it seems easy to you or not. Yeah. So look at it that way. I expect them to be on point when I tell them to do something or they get in trouble. My coach expects me to do it, so I need to be the example to my children.
Yeah. Couple in here. Emilio said his expectations seemed unachievable. However, he now understands that he can do it and potentially more. I've seen people come in with that too, of like, I want to lose 5 pounds and I'd feel great. I've never lost weight. And then we blow that out of the water, right? Steph, but she did not expect to drop weight while increasing her food intake. Seen that 100 times, right? You guys can see the comments. There's obviously a lot rolling in there, but yeah, there's a lot of good ones. Expectations is huge. Read those. They're big. So you manifest like what you think, right? So set those expectations and then it's truly just about fulfilling that. So next one is speaking positively to yourself or speaking positively about yourself. Typically we are our own worst critics. We're the first, like I'm talking about when we talk about ourselves, we're the first person to judge ourselves, the first person to say something negative about ourselves. And it's almost a defense mechanism for ourselves, right? Before somebody else can say it about us. But like I was just saying, that manifestation, what you speak is what will happen. Like our brains have so much power. They regulate our hormones. They control a lot of things in our body. That little tiny thing up here, for some of you, might be a little bit bigger than mine. But stop calling yourself fat or lazy or sad or whatever other negative adjective that it is. Like you got to understand that's toxic to your own mindset, right? Stop telling yourself you can't do this or that it's too hard or add any other phrase in there, right? That negatively speaks about yourself. You're not the person, like you guys are not the person. Oh, what's up, Charlene?
I just wanted to share something quick. So for me, it was very difficult to get out of this for a bit because I ended up, I was in a toxic relationship for about 4 years. So if anyone has ever dealt with that, I just want to say it is possible. Like I went for 2 years thinking these negative things about myself. And now I'm just so happy to be a part of this and knowing that I'm changing my mindset while also helping other people reach their goals too.
Yeah. Think of the testament you're going to have when it's all done, right? Like on what you've gone through and the transformation that you've made for yourself, not only physically, but mentally. So, you know, and like I was saying, you guys are not the person that you were when you started this, even if you started 2 weeks ago. Like, you're not the same person now that you were then, because you have a plan, you're setting these things in action, right? And obviously you don't want to be that person anymore, or you wouldn't be here working with us, right? A big part of that starts with the way that you talk about yourself. So again, the brain is power. So to reverse that, right, what do we start saying? We start calling ourselves active. We're on a mission. We're happy, right? Insert any positive adjective about ourselves there. And as far as phrases go, right, start telling yourself when you see something daunting ahead or something that seems overbearing, right? Like, I've got this, I can do this, one step at a time, right? You, again, manifest what you're speaking. Like, whatever you speak will manifest itself. So the next one is talking about your support system. So support systems are huge. I'll give one away that I obviously think us coaches and this program is a support system in a way, right? Like, we want this for you guys as bad as you want it, trust me. So this journey, like your health and fitness lifestyle, this transformation for yourself, this new you is not necessarily meant to be done alone. Like, people truly, the people that truly care about you will support that journey, and you'll find out very quickly who doesn't want the good things for you or good things from you by making them know, like making your goals known and seeing if they support that or not. Right? Even like going back to relationships, like Shara was talking about, like the people that want you to succeed and to want you to flourish, you'll know that by making your goals known to them and finding out whether or not they're trying to support that or trying to lift you up, or whether they're trying to keep you down here, right? Because it makes them feel better. So that goes in all things, including your health, right? There's people that don't want to see you healthy or necessarily healthy because it makes them feel inferior, right? It makes them feel like they should be doing more, they should be doing better. So this is just a question to yourself, but who do you need more support from, right? Think about that. Like, in your own life right now, who do you need more support from? Take 30 seconds to think about that to yourself, and then ask yourself, before you present that or do anything with that, is ask, do they actually know what your goals are? So you claim that you want more support from this person, right? But do they actually know what your goals are? Have you told them, have you made that vocal? If it's a spouse, right? Have you made that fully aware to them that this is what you're trying to do and you need their support? If it's a friend, like, how can they support you, right? So you have to make your support system known. The people that you want to support you, the people that you want to surround you, make them aware of your goal so that they can be a big part in that. And I think that's partly what us coaches enjoy, like why we enjoy this. We like being a part of that, right? So I'm asking you guys again, turning it back to you, but currently in your health and your life, who supports you the most? I better open this back up.
My daughter.
Yes. Kids, big one. I think Jackie can probably relate to that one as well. I don't know where she's at, but trying to scroll through names, but
My daughter for a little bit. She still likes her junk food and everything. She's 13. But she does call me out sometimes when I go to reach for a cookie.
and I know that she was a big part in actually you making the decision to even like join Body Ups, so that's what I was thinking of too. I see husband and kids, engineer at work.
Family.
Hey, Jackie.
Sorry,
Oh, go ahead, Timothy.
my family 100% constantly reminding me of all the progress I've made, constantly reminding me, how much better I look, and they just constantly keep hitting me with the compliments, which is really bad for my ego because I'm already like up here, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackie, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So you said your daughter still likes junk food?
She does.
Who buys the groceries?
My mother.
Touche. Then
But
if that's the case, do you eat the junk food sometimes too?
not usually, but there was a moment where I pulled the cookie bag out and she goes, "Are you really supposed to be eating that?" I was like, "No," and I put it back.
So it might help if you talk to your mother about taking all the junk food out. Your daughter,
Or even hiding it.
At a 13-year-old, she might not be happy with it, but her ass gonna eat what's in the house because she don't want to starve, or she gonna go get a job so she can buy her own junk food. Regardless, it's a win-win in your situation.
And other alternatives even to that too is, and this is just using this as an example in a situation like that too. Something, if you truly are trying to have the support of someone, what if instead of telling, since you know, if you're with your parents, like instead of telling them to eliminate all the junk food, because they might not be on board for that, like they're like, I want it too, you know, type of thing. But at the same time, it can be like, okay, well, can you like keep it in your room type of thing, or can you put it somewhere where I don't know where it's at, or where my kids don't know where it's at, that type of thing, like just as an example, but to be used. So I see Kelly for me, thank you. But also I see a lot of people talking about themselves, needing more support from themselves, right? That's that positive self-talk that we talk about. Their coach Eric getting a shout out, grandkids, best friends. Yeah, you guys got support systems, right? Whoa, what happened? All right, there we go. You guys have support systems, utilize them. Right? Like they're a big part in the success of your journey. Like you try and do everything alone, you try and be one of those people, it often doesn't happen, right? Somewhere along the way, we give up on ourselves and we need someone else to essentially give us that extra push. Hence what your coaches are often doing. So, just my coach, my son could care less. Love it. All right. So next one is, practicing discipline and resiliency. And this one's obviously a little more umbrella, broad term, type of stuff. But if you've been with Body Ops for very long, well, let me ask this first. Who has the Body Ops sweatshirts that we did a while back? I know Eric, there's a few of you in here. I think Kelly, Angelo, yep. I'm gonna say there's a handful of you guys.
Which one, Walker?
What's up?
Which one? Because there were 3.
Well, I just want the saying that was on the front.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm about to show it. But so if you guys have seen it, if not, I'm sure when winter comes around, they'll do another one. They're awesome. And people ask about it all the time. Like when I wear it, I know I've had other people say when they wear it that people tell them they love the sweatshirt, but it's essentially, it's discipline over motivation, right? Discipline trumps motivation. Oh, Kelly says she always gets compliments on the hoodie, being disciplined, being greater than motivation. Yeah. So, you know, us coaches will say it all the time. If you've worked with me, you've probably heard me say it. Unfortunately, I beat it to death, but truthfully, motivation is something that it ebbs and flows. It'll come and it'll go, but discipline and building consistent positive behaviors or good habits is what's going to win. It's the golden ticket, right? So understanding that discipline is always going to supersede motivation, you have to be able to realize that, because us coaches often hear, or we often are told, like when someone's struggling, is I just don't have the motivation right now, right? That's like stabs us in the heart, because we know that truthfully, yeah, motivation isn't going to do it. Motivation will never be enough. Motivation might be what got you started, but it's not what's going to get you to your end goal. Another part of discipline and resiliency is, okay, you slipped up, now what, right? You overate your calories, you didn't log, you missed a workout, right? Now what? Well, first of all, don't put yourself in a hole. Speak positively about yourself, about what happened. Utilize your support system. Talk to your coaches. Talk to the people that are wanting you to succeed, are trying to hold you accountable, right? Move on. It's a new day. Like at the end of the day, the sun's going to rise tomorrow. It's going to rise again. And it's a new opportunity to put one foot in front of the other, right? And exceed that goal, or make up what was missed, type of thing. Learn from your mistakes, right? Like if you had a bad day, you slipped up, what did you learn from that, right? Why did it happen? Like, you have to be willing to ask yourself those questions, because if you can ask yourself those questions and actually have an answer for that, like, usually it's going to be, I wasn't prepared, right? We, like, you know, something popped up, another meeting popped up or whatever, and you weren't prepared for it. Okay, well, how can we learn from that? Can you have, you know, maybe it was a meeting popped up and you didn't get to go home for lunch. Okay, we'll start bringing your lunch to work, so that's not an issue, you know. Or there's a laundry list of things and excuses that can pop up, right? Biggest thing is making sure that you learn from them. And lastly is, do you have a plan? Like, do you verbalize with your coach? Do you tell your coach what is going on? Like, hey, I have this vacation coming up. I have this weekend trip that I'm taking. Like, do you make them aware of it so that they can help you and come up with a plan on how you can survive vacation and not come back 10 pounds heavier? How you can lose weight while you're still on vacation and enjoy it. Crazy. We've seen that happen too, right? So having a plan, and again, that's leaning on your support system, because two brains think better than one, or multiple brains, right? So use the people around you. One other thing here is talking a little bit about when I referenced earlier, one of the things that we're going to talk about is basically being vocal, like, with your coach. And this is a quote that Matt actually, like, uses as, if you guys see it, actually, if you ever paid attention in your onboarding email, like when you join Body Ops, at the very bottom of that email, it says, a closed mouth isn't fed, right? What we mean by that is, and this quote, gosh, don't judge the grammar right there. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. You can get what you want if you're, or you can't get what you want if you're not willing to ask for it. Be bold, make your request known, and receive, right? You guys, I can't express this enough, and I'm sure Eric can attest to this, Matt can attest to this. If Kat was on here, she would. But us coaches would, like, we want you to tell us what's going on. We don't want you to hide behind, like, because we know that we're technically over a cell phone, to be hiding in your own lifestyle and not be sharing what's going on, why you're struggling, right? Something seems difficult about the program. Well, it's actually typically not that hard. It's just there's an easier way to be doing something and you're not asking, right? So I always say this, right? You missed a workout, you're not understanding something, like, tell your coaches. That's what we want. We would much rather hear from you. And if anybody that works with me on our very first call, I always say this second phrase is like, I would rather hear from you 10 times a day than 0. Like, regardless of anything, I would rather hear from you 10 times than not hear from you at all in that day, because at least then I know you're engaged. I know you care about what you're doing. I know you're trying, right? You're making an effort. So leaning on that is lean into your coaches. Let us do our job. Let us help you, right? Make those things known. If there's stuff that you just feel like, oh, I missed a workout, but I know what I did wrong. Like, okay, maybe you do know what you did wrong, or you didn't log something, like, still share that with your coach. Like, let your coach show you how to log it easier, right? Make a plan for you to better prepare for the future. So these are just 5 of, like, those 5 that I really felt like make a big difference in how we can win the mental side of things, how we can get out of our own head, and how we can make a plan to avoid the mental downfalls of trying to be in a journey of changing your health, because it's not easy, right? We all were stuck with making poor habits or poor choices at some point, and changing that is way harder than if you didn't have those and you were just learning something new. So with that being said, this book has some correlation to what we talk about more with the mental side of things. It's actually called Brain Over Binge by Catherine Hansen. So she speaks on the mental, not only the mental, but also the physical aspects of why we binge. She does talk a little bit about actually eating disorders too, but also just why do we splurge, right? What's the mental block there on why we sometimes just have that F it attitude and, like, eat like crazy, right? She talks a little more about how we can fix the specific habit of binging and not necessarily, like, all the little underlying patterns that can lead up to it, which is what a lot of people talk about. And then I mean, truthfully, she just talks about how binging is mentally taxing and how we can fix it and how we can learn how to fix it. So that finally leads us to our member client of the month. I mentioned it kind of at the beginning. So this person, I've been fortunate enough to work with for 54 weeks tomorrow. They've set since working together, set a PR half marathon time and signed up for their first ever full marathon. Never missed a single spreadsheet, has truthfully just bought into the process and of, like Eric was talking about earlier, cutting body fat off, not being afraid to actually focus on putting muscle back on and then taking it back off, because now he weighs the same that he did when he started, but now he has abs, right? Regularly expresses gratitude, not only in his spreadsheet, but also just about to his coaches, like to me. And then just super disciplined and very committed to what we do. So that person is Kyle Patterson. So photo on the left is literally one. So the photo top right was the very first day we ever worked together. Photo on the bottom left is essentially where he was at a year later. So not much of a weight difference, only 8 pounds, but obviously a significant body comp difference, and his performance numbers, metrics, weight, all that stuff, as far as what he does in a weight room is like astronomical compared to where he started. So we actually went through a process of when he first joined, we lost a little bit of weight at first, got down to about 150, and then we bulked all the way up to 175. And obviously that's hard to wrap your mind around sometimes, but if you're willing to stick it out for the long run, it pays dividends, because really the best way we put on muscle is we have to be willing to put on a little bit of weight. So anyways, result of that. So congratulations to Kyle.
Good job,
Thanks,
Kyle.
y'all.
Brother.
Work.
Good job.
That's awesome.
You almost
Thank
got
you.
an 8-pack.
I almost got a what? 8-pack?
You got potential to have an 8-pack.
Oh, I'm working on it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Thanks, y'all.
so guys, thank you for jumping on. We have 14, 15 minutes. Really where this is the time where if you guys have questions or something that, I don't know, thoughts, questions about
I got a couple of things.
going in.
Walker,
What's
you
up?
can stop recording. Unless
you
you
want
want
to
to
start?
start this part, Matt.
Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead and stop.